Breaking news tonight, Sean Diddy Combs has been arrested in a Manhattan hotel this evening after a grand jury indicted the music mogul. His attorney tells CNN that he is currently being processed.
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and like nonstop, right?
Nah, not really. I mean, but hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Yeah, but you were 13. What were you seeing?
I went there to see the lifestyle,
right?
And I saw it, and it was, but I don't know if I could indulge and understand what I was even looking at.
Having 48 hours with Diddy, him and his boy. They're having the times of their lives, like you know, where we hanging out and what we doing. We can't really disclose, but it's definitely a 15-year-old's dream.
Shows Combs assaulting his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, in a hallway at a Los Angeles hotel.
What's one misconception about you?
There are no misconceptions about me.
Sean Diddy Combs was arrested and charged with trafficking, racketeering, conspiracy, and transportation to engage in prostitution. He pled not guilty to charges in federal court in New York City. He was held without bond and currently, at the moment, is facing a potential life sentence behind bars. Today, I wanted to break down the court documents regarding Diddy's case. For decades, Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka P. Diddy, aka Diddy, aka PD, aka Love, the defendant, abused, threatened, and coerced women and others around him to fulfill his desires, protect his reputation, and conceal his conduct. To do so, Combs relied on the employees, resources, and influence of the multifaceted business empire that he led and controlled, creating a criminal enterprise whose members and associates engaged in and attempted to engage in, among other crimes, trafficking, forced labor, kidnapping, arson, bribery, and obstruction of justice. This means that anybody who worked for or worked with Diddy very closely is guilty of many of the same crimes. They're either A, guilty of committing those crimes, or B, guilty of hiding and concealing said crimes that were committed. Now let's move over to the very weird stuff that was found at Diddy's place. In or about March 2024, during searches of Combs' residence in Miami, Florida, and Los Angeles, California, law enforcement seized various freak-off supplies, including narcotics and more than 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant. What else could he be doing with 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricant? It has to be something disgusting, because what are you going to do with all this stuff? The reason I believe all these stories around Diddy is because of the fact that there are so many of them that sound either the exact same or very similar to each other. And we know that Diddy is a very connected man in the entertainment industry. Every artist or high-level actor or athlete you could possibly think of has interacted with Diddy at some point. Another thing that's been memed on are freak-offs. Now, I'm going to get into what exactly freak-offs are based on this document. Combs and other members and the associates of the Combs enterprise wielded the power and prestige of Combs' role at the Combs business to intimidate, threaten, and lure female victims into Combs' orbit and under the pretense of a romantic relationship. Combs then used force, threats of force, and coercion to cause victims to engage in extended sex acts with male commercial sex workers that Combs referred to as, among other things, freak-offs. Freak-offs were elaborate and produced sex performances that Combs arranged, directed, during, and often electronically recorded. In arranging these freak-offs, Combs, with the assistance of members and associates of the Combs enterprise, transported and caused to be transported commercial workers across state lines and internationally. Freak-offs occurred regularly, sometimes lasted multiple days, and often included multiple commercial workers. During freak-offs, Combs distributed a variety of controlled substances to victims, in part to keep the victims obedient and compliant. Sometimes unbeknownst to the victims, Combs kept videos he filmed of victims engaging in sex acts with commercial sex workers. After freak-offs, Combs and the victims typically received IV fluids to recover from the physical exertion and drug use. Combs subjected victims to physical, emotional, and verbal abuse to cause the victims to engage in freak-offs. Combs maintained control over his victims through, among other things, physical violence, promises of career opportunities, granting and threatening to withhold financial support, and other coercive means, including tracking their whereabouts, dictating the victims' appearance, monitoring their medical records, controlling their housing, and even supplying them with controlled substances. During and separate from freak-offs, Combs, among other things, hit, kicked, threw objects at, and dragged victims at times by their hair. These assaults often resulted in injuries that took days or weeks to heal. Combs also threatened victims' careers and livelihoods, including if they resisted participating in freak-offs. Victims believed that they would not refuse Combs' demands without risking their financial or job security, or without repercussion in the form of physical or emotional abuse. Combs also used the sensitive, embarrassing, and incriminating recordings that he made during freak-offs as collateral to ensure the continued obedience and silence of the victims. So to put it in simple terms, he's just blackmailing people and using it to manipulate them into doing what he wants. Sean Combs, aka Puff Daddy, aka P. Diddy, aka Diddy, aka PD, aka Love, the defendant, operated his business, headquartered at various times in Manhattan and Los Angeles, under a variety of United States-based corporate entities, including Bad Boy Entertainment, Combs Enterprises, and Combs Global, collectively the Combs Business. Corporate entities in the Combs Business included, among other things, record labels, a recording studio, an apparel line, an alcoholic spirits business, a marketing agency, and a television network and media company. So essentially, every company that you could think of that Diddy owns, he used the money or at some point used something related to his businesses to help cover up or fund these disgusting freak-offs. Here's the RICO case, guys. The racketeering conspiracy. From at least in or about 2008 through on or about the date of the filing of this indictment in the Southern District of New York and elsewhere, Sean Combs, the defendant, and others known and unknown being persons employed by and associated with the Combs enterprise, described in paragraphs 6 through 12 of this indictment, an enterprise engaged in and the activities of which affected interstate and foreign commerce, knowingly combined, conspired, confederated, and agreed together and with each other to violate the racketeering laws of the United States, to wit, Title 18, United States Code, Section 1962C. That is, to conduct and participate directly and indirectly in the conduct of the affairs of the Combs enterprise through a pattern of racketeering activity, as that term is used to define in Title 18, United States Code, Section 1961-1 and 1965-5, consisting of multiple acts including kidnapping, chargeable under the following provisions of state law: California Penal Code 207, kidnapping, California Penal Code 21A, 664, attempt, California Penal Code 31, aiding and abetting, and California Penal Code 182, conspiracy. Multiple acts including arson, chargeable underneath the following provisions of state law: California Penal Code 451, arson, California Penal Code 21A, 664, attempt, California Penal Code 31, aiding and abetting, and California Penal Code 182, conspiracy. C is multiple acts, including bribery, chargeable under the following provisions of state law: California Penal Code 137A, bribery of a witness, California Penal Code 21A, 664, attempt, California Penal Code 31, aiding and abetting, and California Penal Code 182, conspiracy. Multiple indictable acts under Title 18 United States Code, Section 1512, relating to tampering with a witness, victim, or an informant. Multiple acts indictable under Title 18 United States Code, Section 1589, and 2, relating to forced labor. Multiple acts under Title 18 United States Code, Sections 1591 and 2, relating to sex trafficking. Multiple acts indictable under Title 18 United States Code, Sections 2421 and 2422, and 2, relating to transportation and inducement to travel for the purposes of prostitution and other illegal sexual activities, and multiple offenses including the possession with intent to distribute or distribution of narcotics and controlled substances, including cocaine, oxycodone, alprazolam, 3, 4,
methylendoxymethamphetamine, 4 bromo 2, 5 thiamethoxyphenethylamine, gamma hydroxybutyric acid, and ketamine in violation of Title 21 United States Code sections 841A1, B1, C, B1E, B2, and 846. Distribution and possession with intent to distribute and conspiracy to do the same, and Title 18 United States Code section 2, aiding, abetting, and willfully causing. It was part of the conspiracy that Sean Combs, the defendant, agreed that a conspirator would commit at least 2 acts of racketeering activity in the conduct of the affairs of the Combs enterprise.
In conclusion, Diddy has been doing this for many, many years, and there are dozens upon dozens of victims. He has had every single bit of control over every situation imaginable, every business he's ever owned. Every possible thing that could link back to him has all led to this big takedown of an evil man. In the coming weeks, people around him better watch out, because pretty soon, Diddy's gonna start opening his mouth, and a lot more people will be put in prison as a result of it. And that's all I have for today. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and as always, stay snazzy, folks.